Holy crap, you're alive!
Yeah, of course I am.
Hey man, we haven't seen you in like a week.
Yeah, some stuff happened, but I'm still here.
Well, thank goodness. I was getting worried.
Really? I've actually been feeling really down lately, so it's really nice to hear that.
Of course, bro. Honestly, I don't think I could live with myself if I didn't get the chance, one last time, to tell you to your face how much you suck.
What?
Yeah, we were genuinely concerned.
We?
Hey, Buffalo, hurry up. We got every low qual in the league out here waiting.
All of them?
Oh yeah, all the girlfriends too.
The high-quality girlfriends?
Dude, I think your dad is like third in line.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. Well, it's nice to be missed. Low-quality fans of a high-quality Bruins team that is not a dub! I'm back, though, sort of. We're doing our best. We're doing our best. Life gets in the way, as they say. Thank you, everyone who has reached out with just concern and best wishes and all that kind of stuff. It's really appreciated. In a really quick synopsis kind of way, before the Toronto trip, lost heat in the house, which we're in South Carolina, so like that doesn't matter to me as much as it matters to other people in the house. Either way, got that fixed, expensive, but whatever. We got it fixed. We have heat back, which is great. Had some health stuff on my end that's going to have to get resolved eventually. We'll see how that goes. And then got back from Toronto, and we had we're dealing with a little bit of a health scare for high quality girlfriend. She's doing really well right now, but that's an ongoing thing. So the channel is obviously very much second to that. So that cost us a couple days there. Spent a good chunk of time in the ER to be told, which is super de-duper. We love modern medicine. And then, of course, we have Larry, who would actually have made a little appearance because we lost, and we try to put Larry in those. But unfortunately, Larry right now is at the hospital for some scheduled stuff. We're trying to figure some stuff out with him as well, but he's going to be out of commission for a couple weeks, but we're looking good there too. Just life took a bunch of stuff and hammered it all into a short amount of time, and we're doing our best. Today was probably the first day where I woke up and truly felt like I was starting to crack a little bit, starting to really, really overwhelm. But that's part of it, and I realize I'm ranting at the beginning of this video for a couple minutes about this, but I really appreciate being able to say that to a bunch of people who I don't even consider strangers at this point, because I keep meeting a bunch of you, and you're all awesome, and I'm just great stuff. Great stuff. The Toronto trip was dope. Speaking of dope, Toronto, the boys and the gals love their cannabis. You cannot swing a dead cat around without hitting a cannabis store. That's still a saying, right? People, that's a saying. That's still, my dad said it a lot as a kid. They're everywhere, man. They're everywhere. Just shocked by that. I get legal up there, Got to see a hell of a game against Toronto, as I've already made a video about. That was awesome, though. Just superb. I really enjoyed the end where we highlighted how much better of a Captain Marchand is than Tavares. We love that. Skipped a Columbus game where the captain went absolutely nuclear, which you love to see. And then got to have some fancy dinner and time up there. It was cool. The Hall of Fame, absolutely nuts. Jumbled as hell. What are we doing? The structure of the Hall of Fame is not good, but a lot of cool stuff there. I got to, stop Crosby glove side, which was awesome. I got to snipe Bardowski on Jonathan Quick, which was awesome. Got to play color commentator for a little bit there. This was my attempt at Bobby Orr's goal. First try, one taker,
And they'll wrap it around the net. Bobby Orr comes in with a great pinch. He's going to move past one defender. Feeds it Sanderson behind the net. To Orr in front. Score!
And then this is Tiffany's, if you can hear it, because she's very soft-spoken.
So what you got here is like there's a puck, and then this guy's gonna go over there, and then some other guys are gonna go over there, and then he's gonna like pass it, and then there's the friend! Oh, look at that!
All in all, we had a good time. We got back, we had some stuff, and we're just kind of doing our best. The Buffalo game. I mean this from the cockles of my heart. that's a game you just lose, man. And you hate to lose. I'm right there with you. I'm pissed off about it. But oftentimes we talk about what the Bruins did wrong. And they did wrong plenty. Don't get me wrong. But Levi played great. And Buffalo was playing downhill. They were fast. They were aggressive. It's that rare circumstance out of 82 games. You'd think it would happen more often in the old electric meatball. But I just want to credit the other team for playing what was really a superb game and stuck to their game plan the whole time. And even when the Bruins started tilting the ice, they got the saves when they needed them. That's a game you just lose sometimes. And you hate to lose. But this is a professional league. You're gonna lose sometimes. That game was, I thought, a pretty entertaining game. We're going to talk a little bit about it, but I don't want you guys to freak out about this one. That's one of those ones that you just lose. You just do. Crediting Buffalo. You know what you should never say after giving credit to the other team? Like, comment, subscribe. You guys would never do that. You know, how crazy would that be? I'm complimenting another team, and yet you're still going to... That'd be nuts if you liked, commented, and subscribed. Nailed it, you know? Crazy. Discord, linked below. Twitter, linked below. The YouTube membership program. Thank you guys so much for everything you're doing there. Thank you so much to all the members. That's very helpful, genuinely, because the money that is coming from there is going directly into fixing the heat. Also, shout out to Van Allen for stepping in for me on the Short Shift Pod. Find that wherever you find your podcasts. It was a good one. It was a doozy. It was a lot of good hockey talk. A little bit more serious. I feel like I tend to derail things more. I think they missed that aspect of me, just making sure that no one could make a point at any given time. So if you want to hear a bunch of guys make some great hockey points and talk about hockey, check out the episode. It's a good one. It's a really good one. Let's talk about this Buffalo game a little bit. Yeah? Yeah, let's talk about it. I believe in this Buffalo team. I no longer believe they can make the playoffs. But I believed in this Buffalo team. And instead, their defense is bad, which we knew was going to be. But they took the one thing they were really good at and stopped doing it. 25th ranked offense in the league with the amount of talent they have, inexcusable. Inexcusable. They're 24th on defense. Technically, a better defense than they have offense. That's nuts to me. They have the worst face-off percentage in the league, which certainly doesn't help offensively, or defensively, I guess. A league bottom power play, or bottom of the third, but bottom third of the league power play. Wow, we're doing our best. And a randomly ranked 12th overall penalty kill. Good for them, I guess. The team's just not playing well. And they just have too much talent to stay as bad as they've been. But they're going to need some teams to really fall off is the problem. At this point in the season, when you talk about Edmonton, perfect example. Edmonton needs to make a push back into the playoff picture, which seems super feasible in the West because of the teams ahead of Edmonton. You don't expect them to stay at a pace that Edmonton can't match or can't beat. In the East, I think it's going to be a much harder sell. The Metro is probably the best division in hockey right now, and I don't think that's a stretch by any means. There's other teams jockeying that are outside the playoff picture that are trying to get back in. So the wild card feels out for them. And the top three certainly does too. Even with Detroit, who you're not super sure about yet. Boston and Florida, pretty locked in there. Toronto, you expect to jump over Detroit at some point, but Detroit's still that really solid wild card that's going to battle with the other Metro teams that are trying to stay in the picture. All I'm trying to say is Buffalo, I don't think there's a road for them to make the playoffs. And it's so early to say that, but we're 20-something games in. You've dug yourself such a hole. The competition ahead of you is so fierce. Goaltending, Luukkonen, UPL. He's been good for them. 907 save percentage. I mean, that's not great, but it's above league average. He's been their only solid starter. Levi gets a start against us because Luukkonen, because my fantasy team desperately needed him this week, goes down with an illness for the whole week. Won't play tomorrow either. The audacity of that man. Oh, while we're saying this, I work tomorrow, and there's a 1 p.m. game, so I'm going to watch it. I'm going to make a video about it. It's just going to be at night. So Levi, he's played 2 games this whole season where he's posted above a 900 save percentage. He'll have his best game of the year against us. Good for him. No Tuck, no Darlene, which is crippling, I thought, for their back end, especially Darlene, obviously, and yet didn't seem to matter. On our end, Forborg is out. LTIR, a nagging lower body injury that they've just been trying to manage. It's just not going away. So they're going to give him some real time off. Lorai is recalled to play on the third pair with Shattenkirk. New lines. DeBrusque, Zaka Pasta, we already knew that one. Marchand, Coyle, Heinen. JVR, Geeky, Frederick. Lauko, Beecher, Steen. You'll notice under the forwards, Patra has been scratched. After the game, they said that was a planned game off for Patra. I am super comfortable with that. He is still only 19 years old. I don't think that's a bizarre thing to do right now. The guy is still going to have to learn a lot at the NHL level. Having a night off and watching from the 9th floor can only help, especially in a game where he would have been really useful for our bottom 6, I'd say. Really useful. Grizz, Mack, Lindholm, Carlo, Lorai, Shattenkirk are your bottom 6, and then Swayman seems to have caught the same illness that every goalie in the league is catching. Olmark is going to get the start, who had been previously undefeated against his old club. And then Bussy will be the backup, with Tuukka being the emergency backup, which was fun, even though we knew he wasn't going to play. Now, we're not going to do a traditional breakdown of the entire game because I couldn't pay attention to it at that level, unfortunately, being in the hospital. That happens. But let's talk about some little notes here. First of all, the first period, outshot 19-6 through the period with a clear goaltender interference calling back Buffalo's only goal. So it would stay 0-0. That was so misleading, it was crazy. Now, although Buffalo outplayed us throughout the entire period, had the puck more than us, especially in the offensive zone, that's true. Out of those 19 shots, maybe a couple of them were actual scoring chances. I can't tell. It had to be 7 or 8 were just like blocker from 40 feet away. Full vision, could see it the whole time. Now, obviously, you don't love that many pucks getting to the net, but you are in a really good position to just go, okay, that's fine. You take those all night. We'll grab the rebound. The problem we were having is, although you love those shots, you're like, if that's what you're going to settle for, fine. No pressure in front of Olmark, just chucking them from everywhere. Fine. Pucks to the net, yeah, I know that whole mantra, but you're feeling pretty confident when your goalie's playing the way he is. If you're recovering the pucks, the speed that Buffalo was playing with through the first, and the tenacity, which you can't teach, the tenacity, I mean, we just weren't winning any puck battles in any zone. They'd fire it on net, they'd retrieve the puck over and over and over again. So they were like, yeah, we'll keep peppering them with low danger shots because eventually we're going to get a bounce. And you guys aren't beating us to any of these loose pucks. So as much as you're a Buffalo fan sitting there going, get inside! You're still kind of going, well, all right, keep winning the puck battles. We'll take those. We'll take those. So you go to the second, and it's 0-0. And the mentality is there. You got to respond. You're outshot 19-6, and even though you didn't give up a lot of great chances, you certainly were outplayed. And Buffalo immediately goes into your zone, immediately sets up. Save made, whistle blown, they get a face-off. Face-offs in the offensive zone are dangerous. In the defensive zone for us, in the O-zone for them. And they're going to win this face-off, and immediately, Peterka's right behind the dot. And he's going to get that puck. He's going to fire this high glove. I don't think Olmark saw this until it was too late. And it's 1-0. It's a great shot. It's 1-0. And you had survived the whole onslaught of the first period. And then you're deflated to begin the second because you allowed them to just go right back to work. There was no response. No response. And most of this period was low lights too. Although we started to pick it up a little bit, it doesn't really matter much. As the period cruises on, there's about 3 minutes left. Clifton is going to get an uncontested pinch. There are a few things I hate as much as puck watching. I hate it. And JVR, we love the signing. We know what he is, though. He's up at the point. We're in our defensive zone. Puck gets whipped to him. And he's watching it come to him. And Clifton, who is afraid of no play, just goes, okay, great. And skates right by JVR. Gets down the wall. Grabs the puck. and flings it. Now, here's what's crazier, is the defensive structure was completely broken down because this should have been an easy 2 steps forward, get the puck, and then fling it out. Nope. JVR makes no effort. Clifton jumps in, and he's able to whip it across to Tage Thompson alone in the slot, who's going to bury that, man. I know he hasn't had a great year, but he gets him blocker side, hammers this one. It's 2-0. You got to have a response. And 38 seconds later, you will. And it's a lucky bounce, but we'll take it right now. We finally put together some offensive zone pressure, and it's just Marchand with the puck on the far right side, underneath the right circle, and he tries to feed Coyle, who's on the other side of the offensive zone, but it's going to bounce off of a stick, a defenseman's stick, and over the glove side of Levi, and it's 2-1. You take that. It's now a one-shot game. You're down by a goal. What can you do? And in the third, you bring it. You do bring it, but you just can't find the back of the net. Pasta had 8 shots in this one. 8. Just couldn't put it together. 5 minutes in, there was a scary moment. Who, as far as I can tell, McAvoy is day-to-day. I haven't seen anything concrete here. A reverse hit from Peterka. Looks like he gets McAvoy shoulder to chin a little bit. McAvoy's coming in on him. Peterka sees him. Clearly makes contact with McAvoy. Not much thinking about the puck there. I don't think this is a suspension. And I got to that by just going, okay, swap the roles. McAvoy does that to Peterka. Do I think that's a brutal hit where he's aiming for the head? Didn't seem like it to me. And it helps me to switch the roles because the whole bias thing. That shouldn't be a suspension. Could it have been a penalty? It was a little high. I wouldn't have been upset if it was a penalty, but it certainly didn't seem like a suspension to me. Either way, tough play. McAvoy leaves the game. He won't come back. I don't know if that was really that much of an effect on the outcome of this one. Obviously, McAvoy is our superstar defenseman, but some nights you just don't have it. And for what it's worth, before we have the ref conversation, because I saw some comments about that, I actually thought the Bruins, this is going to blow your mind, I thought the Bruins had a way better side of the reffing. I thought we could have gotten called for like 14 different infractions in this one that they called 2 of them. I mean, I don't even know what the final numbers were for the penalties, but the Bruins tripping and slashing and hooking, we got away with a ton of shit. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about the refs. That was a call that you could call a missed call, but there was a lot the Bruins did, I thought, that didn't get called in this one. Either way, we're going to have a little highlight moment. I did take a note about this while I was watching. The new third line of Geeky, Freddy, and JVR. Without Patra, obviously. Lindholm and Shattenkirk have the defensive side, and we get in the offensive zone, which was awesome. 45 seconds of just moving the puck around and looking and trying to find, and you realized about 20 seconds into this, no one can make a play. No one can open any space up. No one can get away from their man. No one can make the pass that needs to get made. No one can make anyone miss. No one can go through anybody. You can play with the puck all day long around the edges, but you can't get the puck inside. You can't get the puck to the net. And of course, every Bruins fan on the planet with 12 minutes left, down by 2 goals, at this point, 1 goal, is going, if only you had a playmaker on the ice who excels at making a guy miss and then finding the seam. Patra must have been watching that shift, just losing his mind. Because I'm sure that there were lanes. No one could get freed up, and no one could make the pass. So good on Buffalo defensively, but you got to have a guy on a line that can get by somebody. And that line is built in such a way, you get in the zone, you immediately get the puck to the net. I would have looked at Lindholm being like, get the puck to Lindholm, get it to the net. You've got beefy boys ready to fight for it in front of Levi. But instead, they're trying to create this play. They actually went right back into the zone a couple minutes later, same line, and immediately sent it in on net. And there was a mad scramble. We thought we were about to tie this thing up. They bumped the puck out. But when you have that much pressure like that, and there's a scramble in front of the net, oftentimes if it goes the other way fast enough, well, it's a 2-on-1. And it was a 2-on-1. Olofsson looks off the pass and just goes at Ullmark the whole time. And he's going to bury this one. 3-1, blocker side. Teams are looking blocker side of Ullmark a lot. I'm starting to notice that a little more. Either way, that's your final score of a game that you just didn't have it. And your biggest concerns from this are not really the loss, because, okay, that sucks. We lost in regulation. We just won the last 3. Like, we're evening things out. It happens, right? You're going to lose some games. McAvoy's injury, pretty massive, especially if it's head injury. But we just don't know right now. Patra's planned day off. Before you knew it was a planned day off, you're sitting there like, what are we punishing the kid? I didn't think we were punishing him. I thought it made sense when they were like, yeah, this was a scheduled thing for us. It made all the sense in the world. Against Buffalo, guys. Against a team that's in the bottom of our division. Yes, of course, that's one of the teams that we're going to choose to rest him against. That's fine. You could sell me concerns about Lauko, who I think needs a week off. I would put Steen in Lauko's spot and just, Lauko, you need to reset your skull. Because defensively, he hasn't been there all season. But offensively, he's been important to that fourth line. His numbers analytically look just egregious. It looks terrible. And I'm not big of like, oh, but the eye test. But I think Lauko is a presence offensively with his forecheck. I think he creates with that. But the defense, along with a poor offense like he had in that Buffalo game, he needs a break. You need to sit him for a game or two and kind of reset him. Geeky, talk about one of the signings that I was most excited for, and I have seen jack shit from this guy that actually excites me. I haven't seen a damn thing from Geeky that I'm excited about. I really haven't. And I know Andrew loves to talk about how he does all the little things right. And you're not wrong. He does a lot of little things right. But making the play at any given point, nah, man, he just doesn't do it. He just doesn't do it. You can do little stuff average, right? It's not even like he does the little stuff super well. No, he just does it well enough. This is the NHL. You have to be above average to be an impactful player. And Geeky is just there. Just there. Haven't seen anything from him, which is really frustrating because the second he's great, I'm going to be like, I knew it! He just hasn't been. It's bothering me. Speaking of great, though, holy Captain Marchand. Even with his like meltdown in the Buffalo game, we know what we're getting with Marchand. Like, that's part of it. I think he's been awesome. And I think physically, I said this before he popped off, physically, that's not the problem we're having. I did think he was overplaying to Pasta. I think that's changed even when he's on Pasta's line now, because he's started to gather it together and be like, no, I am Brad fucking Marchand. He's really stepping into his role properly, and I'm excited about that. I think we should all be excited about that. He deserved a better result in that Buffalo game, I thought. And, you know, just as something to reset a little bit, guys, we're well in a playoff spot, which is good. I mean, we can't sit on our laurels or anything like that. But we have the 11th ranked power play in the league. That feels right. I'm not going to lose my mind for not having a top 10 power play because 11th feels right. Now, we have Pasta, obviously, but teams cheat towards Pasta. I think we can get 8 or 9. I think we can get there. But 11th feels fine for power play. Not going to cost you games, not going to win you too many either. Fine, right? We have the best penalty kill. What are you going to complain, right? Great. We have the 18th ranked faceoff percentage. I think it feels even worse than that, but I'd like to see that improve. The 12th ranked offense. That also kind of feels right. We should not be an offensive juggernaut, even with Pasta, because Pasta can't score 4 goals a game. 3rd ranked defense. All of these stats, yes, there's one that I really want to see improve, which is the face-off percentages. I want us to be better from the dot. But all of them feel pretty right? This team going into this season, we were concerned about even making the playoffs. I think we all kind of agreed, this team's good enough to make the playoffs. Wild card team, not sure how we'll finish. What do the young guys have? Things like that. All of these statistics feel like a team that is a high-end playoff team. Are they a contender? Not what you would call a cup favorite. I'll leave that to Dallas and Vegas and Colorado and an Eastern team. But I think this team's good. Really good. And all those stats back me up on that. We are too critical at times. We're still shitting on the power play. 11th ranked power play. I mean, that's not that bad, is what I'm trying to say here. 3rd best defense in the league with really solid goaltending. And then the offense, which is upper half of the league. You'd like to see that squeak into 10, 9 area, like in the top 10. But again, you're also like, okay, I kind of get it. We're missing arguably 2 top 6 guys, realistically 1. We don't have like this scoring depth down the lineup. We're just solid. So I know there's plenty of stuff to harp on, and we'll always have these conversations about it, but I think this is a good moment to kind of go, all right, we're 25 games in, whatever it is, 26 games in, and going, this is where the team should be. We have a better record than probably those numbers spell out, but this is what we expected, right? Not this record, not 17-5-3, but these numbers, a dominant elite defense, an all right offense, and decent special teams. Yeah. I feel like I'm rambling right now, but I see people be so critical. When before the season started, those same people were talking about how this team was going to suck. Or that this team was going to be like a wild card team. Those are wild card team numbers. Those are better than wild card team numbers. I don't think there's a lot of stuff to just crap on. There's some players we want to improve, but they're going to improve. I feel good right now. I feel good about where we are. The last 10, 5-4-1 you don't love, but I don't think that's indicative of what this team is. I think this team will win 7 out of most 10 game spans. Good stuff. Anyway, guys, that does it for me. Again, thank you so much for listening. I'm so sorry about the break. I've been gone. Doing my best. I really appreciate you, though, because everyone has reached out and has said nice things and everything. It does help, oddly enough. So I appreciate you. And go Bees, right? Go Bees. Go Bees. Go Bees! Thank you for watching. But of course, we've got to give a shout out to the low quality YouTube channel members. Need a real name for that one of these days. Starting with the top line tier, the Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Aaron Adams, Just Aaron, Darren Woodbury, Micro Sausage, Brett Arney, Pincent, Justin Barnard, and Nick Zatrullo. You guys are studs. But then, of course, we have our Stallions, the all-star tier members. Haile Coyote, Joel, Jacob Pratt, Jason Ozzy Bruin Connolly, Tupton D. Tashi, Jonathan Harvey, DeKingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Doots42, and Jeremy. Absolute legends. Thank you guys so much for your support, and go Bees.